Hello students. So let us start doing all the question answers from electricity chapter. We'll start with the in-text questions first. So here's the first question. What does an electric circuit means? So yes, electric circuit means what? It is a path. It is an enclosed path, or you can say consists of electrical devices, switching devices, sources of electricity, etc. that are connected by the conducting wire. Okay, or as you can say that it is a continuous conducting path consisting of some electrical components connected between the two terminals of a battery is called an electric circuit. Okay, so anyways you can frame your sentence to define electric circuit. Okay, moving on to the next question. Here it is asked, define the unit of current. So what is the unit of current? Unit of current is, in which SI unit do we measure current? We measure it in amperes. And what it is? 1 ampere. When we say the unit of current means 1 ampere of current. So 1 ampere is defined as the flow of 1 coulombs of charge through a wire in 1 second. Okay. So you have to just put that formula which you already know, that I is equal to Q upon T, right? You know this already. So you have to just put this into statement and your answer will be done. That I, that is 1 ampere, current we measure in amperes. So when this I will be 1, it will be 1 ampere when the amount of charge which is being carried, okay, that is 1 coulomb, that should be 1 coulombs. In how much time interval? In 1 second. Okay, in that condition only our I will be 1. Okay, so I hope it's clear. So when it is asked the unit, define the unit of current, means you have to define 1 ampere, or it can be asked define ampere. Okay, so that is how you can answer your question. Okay, moving on to the next question. Here it is asked that calculate the number of electrons constituting 1 coulomb of charge. So how many electrons will be present in 1 coulomb of charge? This is what is being asked. Okay, so 1 electron possesses a charge of how much? 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 coulomb, right? 1 electron, this is the charge present on it, means we can say it in other way, that this much coulomb of charge is there on 1 electron, right? So 1 coulomb of charge is contained in how much? If these many coulombs are present in 1 electron, therefore 1 coulomb will be present in how many? So this is what you do by applying your normal mathematical calculation work. Okay, it will become 1 divided by 1.6 into 10 power minus 19. Okay, which will give you this value. So instead of calculating and then finding the answer, I would suggest you to remember this value. It is good to remember this value because every coulomb or 1 coulomb of charge is going to contain 6 into 10 power 18 electrons. Okay, and how we get this, that thing you should be clear. Okay, you should know how this 6 into 10 power 18 electron has come. Okay, now in the next question it is asked that name a device that helps to maintain a potential difference across a conductor. So using which device can we maintain the potential difference across the conductor? So answer will be a source of electricity such as a cell or a battery, or when you are using some other kind of power supply. So what it is doing? It is the one that is actually maintaining the flow of electrons, or flow of current. So that helps to maintain the potential difference as the current is flowing. Okay, so it is a source of electricity that maintains the potential difference across a conductor. Okay, moving on to the next question. What is meant by saying that the potential difference between the 2 points is 1 volt? So when we will say the potential difference is equal to 1 volt, okay, so it will be said when, in what condition it will be 1 volt? When the work done, okay, if 1 joule of work is required to move a charge of 1 coulomb from one point to another, then it is said to be potential difference between the 2 points is 1 volt. Okay, fine. So, oh, sorry, we'll go on to the next question. How much energy is given to each coulomb of charge passing through a 6-volt battery? So, how much energy has to be given? How will you do this question? From the word energy, what you mean? What you need to actually calculate when we are saying energy? Okay, how much energy is given to each of the coulomb of charge when it is passing through a 6 voltage battery? So the energy given to each coulomb of charge is equal to the amount of work that is required to move it. Okay, so how much energy has to be given to each charge will be equal to the amount of work. Okay, and you know that work done is what? Work done is potential difference into charge, or you can say potential difference is work done per unit charge. So charge value you already know, it is 1 coulomb of charge on which work has to be done, right? And the voltage is also given, the potential difference is given, that is 6 volts. So what will be the work done? Work done will be, you can calculate using this, potential difference is work done upon charge, so work done will come to 6 into 1, that is 6 joules. Okay, that is P value, V value for V, that is 6 volts multiplied by 1 coulomb of charge. Okay, so this is how you have to do this question. So how many joules of energy is required or work is being done? That is 6 joules of work is done when the charge, 1 coulomb of charge is allowed to move through a battery which is maintaining a potential difference of 6 volt. Okay. On what factors does the resistance of conductor depends? Yes. On what all things the resistance that is being given by the conductor, on what all things it's going to depend? So it depends upon the length of our conductor. Okay, that is, more the length, more will be the resistance. Cross sectional area, yes, is it directly proportional or inversely proportional? Try to recall the formula which we know. R is equal to rho L upon A. Okay, this is rho, resistivity constant. Okay, that is a constant resistivity, and this is L. I'll just write it again. Okay, R is equal to, this is the resistivity, L divided by A. A is the area of cross section. Okay, so more the resistance when there is less area, less resistance when there is more area. Material of the conductor, okay, and also the temperature condition. So these are the conditions on which the resistance given by a conductor will depend. Moving on to the next question, will the current flow more easily through a thick wire or a thin wire of the same material when connected to the same source, and why? So you can relate it using this formula which we have just discussed, okay, that R is equal to rho L upon A. So what will happen? Resistance is inversely proportional to the area of cross section of the wire. Okay, so now if it is a thick wire, so its area of cross section will be what? If it's a thick wire, area of cross section is more. Okay, area of cross section will be more. And if it is a thin wire, area of cross section will be less. Okay, so area will be more when it is a thick. So what change it will be, like how will you answer this? Will the current flow more easily through a thick wire or through a thin wire? So for the current to flow more easily, resistance should be less, right? We want our resistance to be less. Now for less resistance, area should be more, means it will flow more easily through a thick wire, okay, and not through the thin wire. Okay, I hope it is clear. You all can go through this part which is written here. It is given in statement, okay, that lower is the resistance of the wire when it is thicker, right, and therefore the current can flow more easily through a thick wire than a thin wire. Fine. Now moving on to the next question. Let the resistance of an electrical component remain constant while the potential difference across the two ends of the component decrease to half of its former value. Former value means previous value. What change will occur in the current through it? So how the change is going to happen? So try to understand the question, what is being given and what is asked. See children, in this question it is given that the resistance, okay, resistance is something that remains constant, fine. So among the different electrical components, just remember that our R value is constant, so there is no change in it, okay. Then it is given that the potential difference across the two ends of the component decreases to half of its former value. Means I told you former value means previous value, so let it be V, but this is changing, okay. This potential difference, in what is happening to the potential difference, it is becoming half of the former value, means this is the previous value, so divided by 2, okay. So what change will occur in the current through it? So when the potential difference is V, so what will be value for I? We know V is equal to IR, so I will be equal to what? I will be equal to V upon R, okay. I will be equal to V upon R. But when V is becoming half, so what change is going to come in the current? Okay, in the current value, what is the change going to come? So I will be, or let's say the new I, because this we have taken as I. So let me put this as I dash. Okay, so I dash will become, here V value is becoming half, so I will write V upon 2 divided by R. So 2 will go into denominator, right? So I can write it as V upon R, and here in the denominator 2 will also come, right? So this V upon R is nothing but I, okay. This V upon R is nothing but I, so I can replace it by I, okay. I'm just writing it here, okay. This becomes I, so it becomes I upon 2. This is done, it is shown as a solved answer. I'll just a second, I'll show to you all. Okay, moving on to the next page, I can show you. Here you can see, okay, what we have to do is, yes, so our new value for current is V dash upon R dash, and new value for potential difference is what? It is becoming half, so V upon 2 divided by R, okay. You can see here, and then this 2 goes to the denominator, it becomes V upon R. V upon R is replaced by R, because I is nothing but V upon R, so it answer becomes I upon 2, means our new current value is also going to decrease by half, or it will be reduced by half, okay, reduced by half. This will be your answer, fine. Now moving on to the next question, why are coils of electric toasters and electric irons made of an alloy rather than a pure metal? Yes, so what will be the answer for this? You can just see that the resistivity, okay, of an alloy is higher than the pure metal, okay. Moreover, at high temperature the alloys do not melt readily, hence the coils of heating appliances such as electric toaster and electric irons are made of an alloy rather than a pure metal, fine. So you should remember that for an alloy, resistivity, okay, is more than that of the pure metal, fine. So using this you can answer this question. So that is the reason why all these types of conductors, what is being used, alloy is used rather than the pure metal, fine. Okay, moving on to the next question. Also keep this thing in mind that they do not melt easily, okay. Alloys do not melt easily, that is also one of the reason. In the next question, you have to use the data which is given in table 12.2 of your textbook, and using that the electrical resistivity of some of the substances are given, and you have to answer question based on this table which is given, okay. So I'll just show you the question directly. Which among iron and mercury is a better conductor? Okay, this is a question which is being asked, and you have to use your table information from the table which is given on resistivity, okay. So if you see here, what is the resistivity of the iron? Iron resistivity is 10 into power 10 power minus 8, whereas for mercury it is 94 into 10 power minus 8 ohms meter, okay. So resistivity of the mercury is what? Is it more or less? If you compare both the numbers, which one is more? Obviously for mercury it is more, than that of iron, it implies that iron is a better conductor than the mercury. Okay. See children, if you are still getting confused, okay, with this question, let me tell you that when they are asking you which one is a better conductor, okay, from better conductor we mean that the one which is able to carry more electricity, correct? So which one can carry more electricity? We calculate I by I is equal to V upon R, correct? So for I to be more, we want more electricity to be carried, we want our resistance to be less, correct? And we know R is equal to rho L upon A. Here rho is what? The resistivity. Now this resistivity value we want it to be less. Which one has less value for resistivity? It is our iron that has less value for resistivity compared to mercury. Therefore, what it implies? It implies that iron is a better conductor than mercury. Okay, if you cannot understand the answer directly, try to relate it with these formulas and you will be able to answer these questions. Okay. Now moving on to the next one, that which material is the best conductor? Which one is going to be best conductor? Yes, it is observed that the resistivity of the silver is the lowest among the listed materials. So when you go through that table, you will see that the silver resistivity is the least, okay, among all. So that becomes the best conductor. Fine. Okay children, next set of questions we will do in the next video. Okay, keep revising. Thank you.